Hey folks! If you missed the last video in this series, make sure to check the link in the description. Shin Jong-chul wakes up, irritated to find himself bald and feels betrayed by everyone, including his friends. Feeling he has nothing left to lose, he begins plotting his revenge. Ji-young, realizing he's become a negative influence, decides to confess his feelings to his crush, Soo-jin, but she doesn't answer his call. This surprises him as she typically does. When he gets home, his father celebrates Ji-young's new status as the boss of the second year. They have some champagne, but Ji-young doesn't like it, so the others finish it off. Later, on the rooftop, his father suggests Ji-young burn all his award certificates to show he's gone rogue. Ji-young goes through with it, feeling a need for change. While contemplating whether to call Soo-jin again, Ji-young gets a call from Lee Ye-ji. They meet at the park, the same place they once got into mischief together. Ji-young checks her face for scars, which makes her blush, and she leaves in a hurry. Meanwhile, Shin Jong-chul gathers a group to share his revenge plan. Some think he's lost it and leave, while others are intrigued. At school, the third-year council president informs Ji-young that the head teacher plans to transfer him. Ji-young proposes a plan to eradicate school violence, suggesting that if he handles the unruly students, the entire school would benefit. After some persuasion, the head teacher agrees. Later, as Ji-young and his friend Song Jong-sok walk home, they discover that the younger girl Ji-young once protected is actually Jong-sok's sister. The next day, while Ji-young is walking around, he runs into Da-eun again and they enjoy some fish cakes and play in the park. Little do they know, Shin Jong-chul is watching. Jong-sok, weakened from a recent workout. He sees this as the perfect opportunity to strike. They all rush up to him with bats, and because he lacks leg strength he begins to be beaten up but manages to punch a couple of them in the face while doing so. Unfortunately, he loses consciousness for a moment after being hit in the head and they tied him up. Suddenly Ji-young and his little sister returned from playing and they noticed Jong-sok had been kidnapped, causing Ji-young to rage and his little sister to cry. Ji-young vows to bring him back safely. He comforts Da-eun, telling her that everything will be fine. When they arrive at his house, he asks his uncles for assistance, but they are all drunk and asleep. He is about to report this to the police when he receives a call from Soo-jin. He picks up, and it is Shin Jong-chul who gives him the address and threatens to kill Jong-sok and Soo-jin if he shows up with his uncles or backup. As he walks out, Lee Ye-ji is waiting outside and offers him a ride. He ends up explaining the situation to her. They arrive at the construction site. Lee Ye-ji is concerned for him because Shin Jong-chul will not be fighting him alone. Meanwhile, he slaps the tied-up Jong-sok, who's powerless. Soo-jin wonders if he'll slap Ji-young like that, to which he responds that of course he will, and is considering hitting Soo-jin as well. Soo-jin realizes she now hates bad boys. The other bullies are concerned that he will appear with his uncles, but Shin Jong-chul has someone waiting for them in the parking lot. Ji-young arrives alone, surprising everyone. As one of the bullies lunges at Ji-young, he dodges the punch and grabs his arm, kneeing him in the face. He asks Shin Jong-chul to release the hostages. Ji-young threatens to tear Gwang-woo's hair from his head, which Shin Jong-chul does not care about. Ji-young grabs him and punches him in the face. As the rest of the bullies swarm on him, he grabs one of their legs and bites it, causing him to scream. Lee Ye-ji is watching from a distance and notices Jong-sok is tied up, and tries to untie him secretly. Soo-jin suddenly shouts her name, alerting everyone and causing her to get smacked in the head by a plank, knocking her out. Ji-young is distracted and is hit in the chest and smacked by a pole. As Shin Jong-chul was about to swing, Jong-sok punches him in the face, and Ji-young uses the opportunity to untie Soo-jin, who claims her legs are numb and falls into Ji-young's arms. Lee Ye-ji watches as they lunge at them. Jong-sok grabs one of their arms and flips it, smashing it into the ground, while another hits him with a plank from behind before being punched. Ji-young is amazed, but Jong-sok is still in pain and can't move as well. Shin Jong-chul tries to hit Ji-young with a bat, but he dodges it, grabbing Shin Jong-chul's collar and throwing him, forehead first. The rest of the bullies are terrified that Ji-young may now be as strong as Jong-sok. When another bully tries to punch him, he grabs his punch and crushes his arm, sending him to his knees, while Jong-sok protects his back. In a panic, Shin Jong-chul summons the person who is waiting in the parking lot for assistance. The attackers converge on Jong-sok again, targeting him because of his immobilized state. Although he manages to retaliate, striking them one by one, they target his legs, weakening his stance and power. While Ji-young is momentarily distracted by this, Shin Jong-chul lands a punch on him. Simultaneously, a new character enters the scene, a man dispatched by an upper-rank member of the Fire Bear gang named Se Wong. As the scuffle continues between Ji-young and Shin Jong-chul, the latter narrowly avoids a punch and counters with a solid blow to Ji-young's abdomen. Shin Jong-chul anxiously checks his phone, probably awaiting some backup, but is caught off guard by another punch from Ji-young. In a desperate move, Shin Jong-chul brandishes a knife and charges at Ji-young, but the newly arrived man stands right behind Ji-young. Although Jong-sok tries to shout a warning, it's too late. Ji-young is struck hard in the face. In an attempt to retaliate, Ji-young employs a move known as potato crush, but it fails against this formidable adversary. In a sudden recall, Ji-young remembers a special technique Gai Sang taught him for overpowering stronger opponents. He executes the flying pickaxe and infinite pickaxe, bringing the man momentarily to his knees. Just as Ji-young is about to secure his advantage, the man overpowers him. However, the approaching sound of police sirens interrupts the fight. The man makes a hasty retreat, escaping in a van, even as Ji-young's uncles arrive at the scene. Jong-sok, now in control, has Shin Jong-chul pinned, demanding to know about young masters. Realizing that another gang might be involved and seeing Ji-young's battered appearance, he releases his wrath on Shin Jong-chul. With the situation under control, they head to the awaiting police officers. In a quiet moment, Soo-jin and Ji-young share a walk. She confesses her feelings for him, revealing she's harbored these sentiments for a decade. To her disappointment, Ji-young remains non-committal, suggesting they head back. His cold demeanor leaves Soo-jin devastated and crying. Meanwhile, Lee Yeji and Ji-young share a cute moment on a bike ride, which is interrupted when they are collected by one of Ji-young's uncles. At the police station, the attackers are informed that they'll face criminal charges. To further complicate matters, there's suspicion of a traitor within the Fire Bear gang. As they leave the station, one of Ji-young's uncles playfully ensures Ji-young and Lee Yeji sit close together during the ride, teasing Lee Yeji about her obvious feelings for Ji-young. They eventually drop the duo off, leaving them with their bike, immersed in their own world. As they ride her bike to his house, they spend some time talking. He ends up complimenting her, which makes her flustered. She tentatively moves in for a kiss, but Ji-young, confused about what's happening, hesitates, leading her to become frustrated. She walks away, cursing him under her breath. Suddenly, Da-eun appears with Jong-sok. He explains that Da-eun wanted to check on Ji-young to ensure he was okay. Meanwhile, Lee Yeji departs on her bike. Jong-sok tells Ji-young that he needs to discuss the Super Asshole Alliance. He mentions that with Shin Jong-chul's defeat, Ji-young is determined to train harder to face any challenges. Jong-sok insists that he will confront the alliance too, since he believes he will be targeted regardless. They decide to form their own alliance. In the house, Da-eun is crafting bear-shaped cookies with Gai Sang, and they joyfully perform the bear song dance. Uncle Jae observes, bemused, and as he's about to question Gai Sang's antics, he charges to confront him. However, Da-eun intervenes, explaining that the little girl is Jong-sok's sister. Realizing his misjudgment, Uncle Jae apologizes and joins in on the fun. When Ji-young and Jong-sok arrive and see them, they also jump in and dance together. The senior members of the gang inform Ji-young that their attacker is from their own ranks. When asked to describe him, they recall a significant scar on his face. The revelation that a traitor exists within their gang infuriates them, but they are determined to unearth him. As the discussion concludes, Gai Sang divulges that he was once the leader of the Super Asshole Alliance, and that the current head is Do Park. Upon reaching her home, Lee Yeji disregards Do Park and retreats to her room. Shortly after, Do Park receives a call from Gai Sang, who requests him to provide Ji-young with details about the alliance. Without hesitation, Do Park agrees. Inside her room, as Lee Yeji ponders over Ji-young, Do Park barges in. He proposes that if she conveys information about the alliance to Ji-young, it would facilitate a closer relationship between them. Moreover, Do Park realizes that if Lee Yeji and Ji-young unite in marriage, he'd be the brother-in-law to the head of the Fire Bear gang. Curious about what comes next? Click on this video to continue. And don't forget to like and subscribe.